shave. Yeah, this is good, Russell. You should get into this.
Podcast. It's Russell and Matt and Mr. G podcast.
If you want to get involved in the show, email your questions. Ding dong, who's that knocking at your door? Telephone neighbours, General Codswallop, anything you want to russellandmatt@audioboom.com.
Russ, Matt, G, Audio Boom.
As you know, I'm one of the great runners around. Now, there's another fella who's doing it called Bradley Garrett. I've got a lot of inquiries and a lot of questions for Bradley. What could I be clambering up and down? Is there any laws that I should particularly be breaking? What is the summit of urban... What's it called?
Well, he calls it... His book is called Explore Everything, Place Hacking the City.
I love it.
So
I want to place hack. I've been place hacking.
Simultaneously invented the same thing that he's going on
This is
about.
like nylon, which I also
places.
wear. I love it. I love it. Me and Bradley Wiggins are going to space hack our way...
Garrett
are going to space hack our way to the future. Stop sniffing away at your bird box, you dirty bastard.
Do you want some bio on Brad?
Yeah, give us the facts on Brad, because I'm suddenly revitalised.
I know you are. Bradley Garrett describes place hacking as, right?
Yep.
See if this concurs
Resonates.
with your idea.
Go on.
Seeing the city like a puzzle computer game, you said.
Yes.
Putting those pieces together. The more we feel like there are things we can't do and places we can't see, the more urban exploration has capacity to give people hope.
Bradley, you speak to me.
This is like you've taken on a persona called Bradley.
Bradley, who cares if you watch Jerk Off Instruction? What business is it of theirs?
Here, listen to this. He currently works at the University of Southampton, has given TED Talks. That's one of your things to do, isn't it?
He's done a TED Talk?
Yeah, you'd love to do that.
I'd love to talk to Teddy.
He's been arrested by British Transport Police at Heathrow Airport.
How dare they arrest Brad, my brother in arms? Get him on the phone.
Bradley Garrett.
Brad, breakfast ready? Brad?
He's probably out running.
Hello.
Is that you, Bradley?
Russell, Matt, how you guys doing?
We feel
Very
really
good.
optimistic. Are you a young man in your 20s?
In my 20s. So I'm in my 30s now, but I can pretend I'm in my 20s, or I do most times.
Bradley, this space hacking that you do, can you explain it to us using your own words or any words that happen to be available?
Yeah, sure. So basically the idea is that the world around us is increasingly inaccessible.
Yes.
If we want to access it, we have to trespass.
We have to trespass. What is
We
this
have to
concept of trespass?
So
Doesn't even sound like a real word.
The idea of place hacking is that the world is increasingly a closed system, right? And in order to get behind the code, in order to access the sort of underbelly of this system, you have to find a little loophole and you've got to exploit it. So that's the hack, right? You've got to find. I mean, yeah, you did it the other day at Rothermere's house, right? You go over the fence, you find the ladder, you get up on the scaffolding.
Bradley, I've been doing it like crazy lately. I space hacked my way down a ladder onto the riverbanks of the Thames. I space hacked my way over a fence into Barbican. What should I be saying, Matthew?
Place hack.
I place hacked my way into my own bottom for half an hour. And I apologise to me later, but by God, I didn't mean it. Arse pass in the trespass. But for me, it's very liberating and freeing, and I find that it's, as I was saying to Matthew earlier, as well as hacking through geographical space, you hack through psychological space. For example, when I was in this church earlier, I had the realisation that sometimes religion seems inaccessible to us because it seems like antiquated, old and irrelevant language. The same way as you don't really register a church when you're running through the city. You just think, oh yeah, church, you don't bother. But in there is sanctuary and peace. The same as in the antiquated language of, say, Christianity. There are codes in a language that didn't know about psychology and technology. So it sort of is opening up new territories in my mind, you know? It's really fascinating. Tell us about some of your good ones, some sneaky places you've place hacked the heck into.
Well, where to begin? I mean, I've climbed every major construction site in London.
You are joking me.
2012. No, I climbed the Shard when it was under construction.
Hold on a minute. You climbed up the Shard? What, on the outside or the inside?
The inside. I took the stairs. I took the easy way.
You sneak in and you climb up?
Yeah, absolutely.
I like this.
Well, yeah, I climbed over the bridge. There's a bridge from London Bridge over to Guy's Hospital. There was a bridge there, and they had scaffolding on top of it. I climbed over the scaffolding, got down to the bottom, and the security guard was asleep in his hut. I just ran in the building and took the stairs.
And then you're just free in the building.
Wow.
The other day, I ran into a lawyer's office and jumped through a window.
What you're saying is so important, though, because the thing is, we're carrying around all of this social conditioning in our bodies all day long, right? And we don't realize how we censor ourselves. And what happens, what you're finding is when you cross over that boundary, all of a sudden that social conditioning breaks open, right?
Yes.
You find yourself able to think about the world in a different way and to do things that you wouldn't normally do. That is what the hack is all about.
Yes, it's liberating, and it's like that we sort of, I was saying that we sort of unquestioningly accept that we stay on prescriptive paths, like this is what you do, you go here, you don't go there. So it sort of really sort of woken me up. It's had a meditative quality. I noticed that in the city there were these sort of mini bins attached to lampposts, and it says for cigarette butts and chewing gum, and I thought, God, both of these products are these ways of coping with the ridiculousness of life. You know, they can't have proper bins anymore because terrorists might put bombs in there. It was such a sort of odd indicator of where we are as a society. So,
what the indicators are all around us of a city that we can no longer participate in. If you want to participate in any sort of political processes in the city in any meaningful way, you have to trespass. You have to cross those boundaries.
I love it. I mean, like, I got all that anti-crime paint on my hands, but even that was okay as I was wiping it off on grass like dog poo. I felt like really sort of, I felt sort of liberated and connected to the world again. It's like the city becomes this sort of anodyne, sanitised place that's not for you. You just skim along the surface, not properly penetrating. Do you think, Bradley, that it's responsible of us to, as we are now about to do, encourage people to start space hacking? And the first one that dies as a result of it's nothing to do with us, you coward, letting everyone down with us by being clumsy, climbing up a building site, you fool. What were you thinking? Take your freedom back, you fools. What do you think, Bradley?
I think that we can encourage people to start on a small scale. But,
start on a small scale.
I mean, let's not encourage people to open up a sewer and go into it at this point in time. But
what sort of things? Tell me some tips, because it is like a computer game. What should I be? Now I'm a bit more advanced. I've listen to some of my exploits. The other day I was in Gray's Inn. I ran sort of under a barrier, and I see through an office. I see a sash window open at the back. I darted into the office, simply ran in. Oh, in fact, the window was shut. Opened the window, jumped out, and I was in a quad. And then darted across the lawn like a little fox boy. That's good, isn't it? Now, what's the next? I don't know if I'm ready to. Well, construction sites. He's been arrested.
Yeah.
Right. Bradley, that is a gauntlet that's been cast down there. I am going to get arrested so hard before the next podcast.
Look, we've got good weather coming up, and this is good news, because you know what it means. People start opening their windows.
And in we go, Brad!
And in we go.
And if we want to wank on their pillars, that's our business! No, we don't do that. But what do you do with these... When you go in these open windows, Brad, what happens next?
Exploration is what happens.
Oh, then you don't just go into someone's gaff, do you?
It's worth saying, and it's worth saying for your listeners. It's really important. If a building, I would never trespass into a residential structure, right? I wouldn't go into someone's house. Right?
Me neither.
We're talking about hacking public infrastructure and at times corporate infrastructure.
Yeah.
Right? So going into sewer systems, going into bunkers, going into electricity tunnels, going into abandoned tube stations, climbing around in construction sites, these are all things I endorse. Going into someone's house, you're just a dickhead.
Yeah, that's a different thing. That's, what's that called? Lurking, perving, oddity. Yeah, don't go into someone's little private little cavern. But when it's those other spaces that you've described, smash your way in. Smash the back doors in.
I'd like to go to an abandoned tube station.
Well, we can. There's one near here. There's Strand.
Aldwych
Russell Brand, we're down the Strand. How'd you get in one? Don't be such a coward. How do we get in, Brad? Down the Strand.
Strand is a tricky one. Maybe try Lord's abandoned station.
Where's that?
Easier. What you need is an abandoned tube station that is within running distance of a portal. So you've got a portal that.
What,
goes
like in Matrix? This is great.
You need a portal that goes from overground to underground. That is
1 million free.
Your entry into the secret system.
You smoke weed, Brad?
Don't you undermine Brad. Brad is a free man of the land.
Wondering.
It's up to Brad. Do you, Brad? Brad?
I smoke weed. Occasionally I smoke
Why
weed.
wouldn't you? That's up to you. Brad, explain your lifestyle down to the nearest, most recent orgasm, and what did it go into? Was it a residential window?
You know what? I'll tell you my most recent orgasm. It was last week. It was in North Wales, and we found a quarry that was filled with cars that the council had been dumping down there in the 1970s.
Cool. That's cool.
And we got into this quarry. Check this out. We got to the bottom, and there was a lake down there that was crystal blue, and there were about 24 cars piled up inside the lake, reaching towards this sunbeam that was breaking through the ceiling. It was the most incredible thing I've seen in a
This is heavenly!
This is real. This is an actual place.
This is like it says in St. Thomas's Gnostic Gospel, the kingdom of heaven is spread upon the earth and man sees it not. There you were, down an abandoned quarry, and there was a pool at the bottom with piled up cars, a heavenly sight. And that's the other thing I've noticed, Bradley. I've been getting into these amazing conversations, like with these guys down on the beach at the banks of the Thames looking for Roman coins. Very sort of...
Oh, yeah, the mudlarkers.
The mudlarkers. I had wonderful chats with them. Suddenly, like, all these connections are available. Suddenly it's a reclamation of space in a different way. Suddenly walking itself becomes a radical act, or this place hacking thing. There's something inherently radical and reclaiming in it, no?
Well, look, the next step from going from the liminal zone of the beach of the Thames, which you can access legally. You can. I don't know if you've been to the...
Because I'm a liminal.
The Reclaim the Beach parties. They're amazing. But look, the next step from there is to go up the floodgates into the hidden rivers of London.
Are you Morpheus and am I Neo? And can we play Matrix round my house later?
Up the floodgates into the hidden rivers of London.
The floodgates to the hidden rivers of London.
This is amazing.
This is the future, baby.
Go up the floodgates into the Fleet, up Blackfriars. How
do I get in there?
That is the coolest hidden river.
Show me the way.
I'll take you. Let's go next week.
Yes.
I'll take you.
All right. Do you want to come, Matt? You want to come, G?
Yes.
What do we wear? Can I dress as Neo
You're
from
going to need
Matrix
some
1?
hip-high fishing waders. The rest of it is optional.
Hip-high fishing waders?
Go near them.
Neo wouldn't wear those.
What about those plastic leather trousers you've got, Russell? They'll probably be pretty good for it.
You'll probably be fine. If you lace up your boots tight enough, you'll be fine.
I like this. I like this. Okay, I'm going to look... Oh, I'm turned on, Brad. All right, we'll talk to each other some more. I'm really, really into all this stuff. Thanks very much. We've got to wrap up the podcast now, but we'll be talking to each other again, and we're going to go on adventures. Do you live in London, mate?
I live in Southampton, but I'll come up anytime.
What the hell are you doing down there? Get up here, you silly arse. All right, Brad, thanks very much.
Thanks,
What's
Brad.
your book called, Bradley, so we'll promote your book?
Explore everything. Placehacking the city.
Dirty devil.
Cool.
Nice work, Bradley. Cheers, man. Thank you. That was good,
You
wasn't
guys
it?
have a good
See
one.
ya. Bye, mate. Bye.
Bye.
Ooh.
Yeah, I like that.
Let's place hack ourselves senseless, Matt.
You kept saying space hack.
You didn't explain. You didn't explain it to me, mate.
No, but he could do place hacking. You do space hacking.
Listen, we're rivals
Doesn't really
now.
matter.
I'll bring him down. I'll destroy you, Bradders. Shall we summarise this show, Matthew? The only way we know how, by using the poetry of Mr. G, who didn't have cans on, so he didn't hear the bit where Bradley explained a pool with cars in it, which I was rather hoping to hear of in a poem. Yeah. So, if you ask me, G...
Cans on?
Huh?
He didn't have cans on.
Headphones.
Oh, I don't know what cans are.
What do you mean,
I'm saying, I'm surprised he didn't have cans on.
You don't bother. Why don't you listen to the calls?
I can hear it through. I can hear. I can.
You can hear
tap
in the
into
room.
It. Yeah.
Well, let's see if there's bits of Bradley's chat in the poem. It's about time you start to be challenged on these poems.
Well, if you can see it in the poem, then you know what I mean.
Right?
It's there for you. It's all there for you.
The reason I liked G when I first fell in love with him in that sort of way was because I thought, this man is obstreperous and argumentative, stands up for himself.
Yeah.
He's never stopped doing it.
Good for him.
Okay, this poem is called "The Piece That Fits." First impressions last, as the laws of light meet laws of art. Reality is reduced to broken brushstrokes like a Monet sunrise in the dark. Watch the smallest of rudders, steer the largest of ships. Karma's flow must complete the puzzle as we place hack the piece that fits. Yet a super void exists between us and the Big Bang. History will make a trash heap of all the doers' plans, but we can tap into the astral portals and dream beyond the traffic jams, or dance our cares away, trespass and do the Running Man.
Woo! Check it out!
He did it.
He
had
incorporated the
portals
whole
in
show in a poem form.
I told you.
How does he do it, this guy?
I don't know.
It's too much. It's too much talent for one man.
Kinky.
My God, I've got to express myself. Do you remember when your little nephew went, somebody kiss this, and pulled a swinkle on?
Yes.
That's how I feel every morning,
It
baby.
reminds me of you. Oh, who do we give the poem to?
Bradley!
Bradley.
As a sign of our respect
Yes.
for a fellow... I mean, he's been up every building site in London.
That's amazing.
Impressive.
I'm going to get myself in so much trouble with this, and probably soon a teenager is going to slip over and do his head in.
Well, urban
and we'll be
exploration,
blamed.
people going into old mental
We don't
hospitals and
own
stuff
this.
like that.
This is the world.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
We're
of
simply
course.
promoting it.
Actually,
as well as that other thing
Well, you have to
like.
do it undercover.
There's a poet I know called Inor Ellams, and he runs a thing called the Midnight Run, where he starts at midnight and he walks through different cities around the world with loads of people from midnight to 6 in the morning, just exploring the city at night.
Yeah, sort of things are all going on.
Look at this wonderful world we're living in.
Why does he call it Midnight Run and then he walks?
Oh, come on!